Alright, so you have seen by the title what this video is about. It is about all things Glacier Pothos. So care, and propagation mostly, and just me talking about the growth habit of this plant. So, Glacier Pothos. When I first got it, it was an untitled, sickly looking cutting, and it took me a while to figure out what it was. I thought it was Pothos and Joy. I knew it wasn't Pearls and Jade because my mom had one, and some of the variegation is kind of speckled, but that's mostly from when I had it in poor lighting. But when I have it in actual good lighting, it has very crisp, perfect white variegation, which is very much contrary to the Pearls and Jade. And the reasoning behind why it isn't a Pothos and Joy is because someone told me that Pothos and Joy doesn't have any of those bluish, grayish streaks. It is only green and white, no in between, anything like that. And I was like, oh, okay. And then someone had a Pothos who, like, it looked just like mine. I was like, oh my gosh, what is this plant called? And they're like, oh, it's a Glacier Pothos. It's pretty uncommon, actually. And I was like, no way, that's literally the plant I have, I think. And I showed them a picture and they're like, yep, that's definitely it. And I was like, sick. So I have, like, confirmed that this plant is a Glacier Pothos, and I am in love with it. Where I'm from, like I said, it's uncommon, but I'm sure elsewhere it isn't, but for me, it is. So that is one of the cool things, because this was like one of the first more rare plants that I ever had in my collection. And like I said, I started it single vine, maybe 5 leaves, and it was not looking good. It was outside in like early spring. I was like, oh boy. And I didn't get it from a big box store, I got it from like an actual plant store. So yeah. But anyways, this plant since then has shot off, and I've tried different propagation methods. So one of them is you literally just let the vine lay on soil and it'll root into it, and then once it's rooted enough you just cut it and then you have a new plant, and that's pretty cool. I've also done node propagations and they have been so easy. I have a sphagnum and peat moss mix propagation box that I have them root in, and every single one of them has done well. None of them have died. And then same with just taking a stem cutting or an end cutting and propagating them in water. So easy. You cannot go wrong with this plant. It just don't overwater it. I did that once, and that's why some of the older leaves are kind of because I didn't have a good schedule. It was when we first started like moving, and we first moved into like our first place, and I was just really overwhelmed and my whole schedule was ruined. So because of that, I watered them too much, but it has since persevered. I'm not sure how it does growing up. I've never had it on a moss pole or anything. I tried staking it, did not work. Don't recommend the stake. But it grows like a beast, and every single time I take cuttings from it, it puts out all these new growth points, new shoots and everything. So fast growing, so pretty, and I'm just really happy to have it in my collection. And this is something I definitely recommend, like, to have in your collection. And you can't go wrong with it. It has the variegation that people like look for in like rare plants, but I mean, the cuttings I've seen are, you know, not like the cheapest Pothos in the world. Still way cheaper than Global Green, I think. And probably Cebu Blue too. But still, you know, way cheaper than like a Monstera Albo or a Monstera Thai Constellation. So this is definitely an alternative if you want like that variegation, but don't want to pay hundreds of dollars.